Hi, my name is Whitney McElroy and I teach in Caldwell Parish at our only high school, aptly named Caldwell Parish High School. In my years of teaching English, I have become passionate about representation in books and finding the perfect book for one to read. During this video, you will step into my second hour Honors 3 English course. Because this is an Honors English 3 class, it is comprised of gifted and college-bound students. 2 of my students attend virtually and the rest attend face-to-face. We have just finished reading Friday Night Lights by H.G. Bissinger from the Louisiana Guidebooks curriculum, located on the Louisiana Curriculum Hub website. As we've read the novel, we have discussed how race, gender, and socioeconomic status impact the Permian football team and impact us in our own lives. Yesterday, students worked independently to answer questions about the novel to help facilitate their discussion for today. The lesson objectives include citing thorough, strong, and relevant textual evidence, identifying 2 or more themes or central ideas, and analyzing the development over the course of the text, and participating in a collegiate discussion. My expectation is that all students will participate in the discussion effectively to help prepare them for the culminating writing task. Students are required to have a completed Socratic Seminar ticket in order to participate in the discussion today. To receive full credit, they must move the conversation forward at least 3 times. In addition to participating in the discussion, they will also grade their peer. Now, I do have some students who suffer from anxiety, and so their response minimum is 2 instead of 3. Overall, the Socratic Seminar assignment is one of my students' favorites because they are able to discuss their analysis and they find it easier than writing it. The skills developed today, such as speaking and listening, will also aid my students for life outside of high school. Good morning, y'all. So for bell work this morning, I do want you to write the whole sentence and then to continue reviewing what we did yesterday. You're going to take the underlined word and make it possessive. And if people are finishing up, you'll take out your Socratic Seminar ticket. I'll come around and check that for today. I think everybody is done. Number 1, the Goblin home is under the bridge. Trinity, how am I going to make goblin possessive?
Apostrophe S.
Why am I going to put apostrophe S?
Because there's only one goblin.
Because there is only one goblin living within the home. Good job. And then you can park in the Smith's driveway.
Apostrophe between the H and the F last is.
Not quite.
I said apostrophe after this.
Why did you say an apostrophe after the S?
Because the Smiths is like a family, like it's a group of people.
Yes, we have multiple Smiths living together. Alright, so today we are going to participate in a collegiate discussion. We're going to look at theme, and then we are going to use and cite relevant text evidence, and how we're going to do that is, of course, Socratic Seminar, and then our reflection after. Normally, I would create the norms for you, but I want y'all to help me create the norms for our discussion today. So if y'all would turn back this way, please. Let's get 2 or 3, I don't want to say rules, because it's not necessarily like a you have to follow this, but it is a what are some things we should expect out of this discussion? What do you think, Brooke?
To let everybody get a word in.
I love it. Let's not hog the conversation. Let everybody say their piece. Virtual kids, I'm going to get them situated, and then y'all are going to hop in for this Socratic Seminar as well. So, a couple of things before we get started. So normally we do our Socratic Seminars, y'all know, with like 2 circles, inside, outside, but because we are short-staffed, today we're just going to do a big circle. You're still going to grade somebody else. So this is going to help you stay accountable for the person next to you. Make sure that you are attuned to them, especially what they are saying. So you are going to look for, did my peer contribute to the discussion, move the discussion forward? Remember, you have to move the discussion forward at least 3 times to get your full credit for today. Virtual kids, you are going to be responsible for each other with the same thing here, okay? Remember, I'm only going to hop into conversation when I feel like it's lulling, or that I do have some questions that I have prepared that that we can talk about if necessary, but you are leading the discussion today, okay? Discussion leader today is going to be Andy.
Okay, I'll start with this one, because this one like had a lot to unpack, I thought. It says, what specific examples does missing your sight of the roles of fans, coaches, teachers, parents, and school administrator in the treatment of high school football players? How accountable should school officials and parents be for the behavior of players?
Okay, can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as like the roles for like fans, coaches, teachers, parents, all of them, I feel like they're all trying to support them. Like they think that they're being supported. Like, oh yes, like my kid or my son or my student or whatever, like they're playing football, they're doing their best. I'm gonna support them the best way I can.
What was your quote for it?
Okay, so I used the Ivory Christian example, like the one where he was wanting to be a preacher. And the quote I have is from page 123. It says,
Yeah, I agree with that. I said the teachers had a lot to do with it because they just, they let them do whatever. And on page 147 it says, Don, of course, was a football player which gave him special status among his peers, regardless of how he performed in class. And that has a lot to do with, how they are treated just because they're football players.
I think Lauren has something she wants to say. Go ahead, Lauren.
I wanted to add on to what they both said. I said that you can tell that they don't hold them up to the same standards and they just kind of let them pass. On page 142, I got the quote, all I do in class is show up. They should make these classes 15 minutes long.
Everybody flip to page 142. Let's talk about that quote right there. What do y'all think about the school structure in Odessa? And is that a good thing or is it a bad thing?
I think that really applies to like the second question in that box. It says, how accountable should school officials be held like the behavior of the players? I think that quote is like, obviously we can see how the football players view their.
And I think if the parents really know what's going on in the classroom, that they should also be held accountable. And I think that the parents is the most controversial one because some could have mixed feelings, some could really care about their child's grade, or some just.
Yeah.
I have a quote from page 144, and it says, some blame it on the parents who seem much less interested in pushing their kids in the classroom than in football or band or choir. And that kind of leads back to what they were saying about how the parents are more worried about how they're doing in football rather than academics.
Let's go to, I want to hear one of the questions that y'all wrote.
can I ask one? Okay, so this is still on the topic of academics. And I said if Permian were a more academic-based school, would their football team be successful? And what I mean by that is like, if they were to put more effort into grades and I was wondering, I was like, okay, well if they focused more on academics, how good would their football team be? Because if you're focusing so hard on studying and stuff, how much effort are you putting into football?
I think it would be a little better because if it taught them how to put more effort towards their academic side of things, then it would teach them to put even more effort towards football and it would push them to be better.
And see, I was thinking about that too. I was like, I wonder if maybe that will prepare them for the better. Like, if they do want to see football outside of high school, if they do want to see college outside of football, either way, it'll benefit them. But I just don't think that their team as a whole will really be as strong as they are now. Because, they're putting their blood, sweat, and tears. They're leaving class 5 minutes early. I think I have a quote on that. 164. After a while, he gathered up his things and left class ahead of time. He was being excused a few minutes early so he wouldn't be a second late. So it's like they put every second into that, and I feel like if they didn't put as much effort, like their team wouldn't be as good, but their grades would be a lot better.
Yeah, but the people who push themselves more academically tend to be more mature.
The more focused on their academics, and then they like weren't as good as football, it could have a negative effect like on the town, because then they wouldn't have so much to look forward to and be excited about.
I was gonna say, I think it could be possible because Brian Chavez, he focused a lot on school and he made like good grades and stuff when he got into a good college, but he was still good at football and it was still possible for him.
I still think it would do the town better as a whole, though, because if they do better academically, then they'd be able to go, to college and then get a job, and then that would just benefit the whole town of Odessa. Like, yeah, they may not have football to watch, but they'll have something going in their lives that's good.
I agree, because I think it also would show which of them really actually want to be in the football team.
I mean, we would have to think about that if you want to raise grade point averages, because what if you go from we have 40 kids on our high school football team, and if we bump up the grade point average, what's going to happen if we lose half of them?
Where, I'm not talking about raise the 2.0 average, but just that they earn the 2.0, not write their name and they get an A on the paper.
Yeah, but the teachers gave them just work to keep them busy.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we talked about earlier too,
Yeah.
was the teachers being held accountable for that.
When you put it like that, when you put it in our situation, that does make it harder, because some people struggle with trying to keep their grades at a certain point. It's so hard to just try to make a B in chemistry, honestly, and because you're busy and you have other things to do, and dance sometimes outweighs time to study, or work outweighs time to study. So now that I think about it, I guess that's kind of hypocritical saying.
Good job. Y'all did very, very well. What I want you to do is to take a quick moment and grade your partner. Please put in the justify column, or not column, row, a 1 to 2 sentence explanation for your grade. Virtual kids, I emailed you what I want you to do. Once you're done, pass your peer evaluation sheet to your partner, and then I want you to complete this part, the reflection. I know it says in your journal, but you're just going to do it on the back of that peer evaluation sheet. I want you to rate yourself 1 out of 5 for how well you think you participated today, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest, and then I want you to explain your rating. What did you do well? What do you need to do to improve on the next Socratic Seminar? Tomorrow we get started on the culminating writing task, and then we will be done Friday Night Lights. Pretty good conversation, huh? My juniors continue to blow me away with their analysis of the text. The lesson objectives were met by all of my students. During the conversation, I made notes about student participation, and because of this, I was able to see that all students met the objective of identifying and analyzing 2 or more central ideas and participating in a collegiate discussion. To further check for understanding, I graded their Socratic Seminar ticket and was able to see that all students did provide text evidence to support their answers, even if they didn't quite use it during the conversation. For the next Socratic Seminar, I hope to do more of a fishbowl technique like I have in the past. Normally in a fishbowl technique, you have 2 circles, an inner circle and an outer circle, and this allows for the students to grade their peers in a much simpler manner. During the fishbowl approach, we will also have a halftime, so the conversation will stop and the 2 partners will be able to discuss how the one partner is participating in the discussion. This will alleviate some of the confusion at the end of my lesson when I told them to grade their peers, because by then they'd kind of forgotten what their peer had done. Moving forward, we will begin working on our culminating writing task. The guiding question for the culminating writing task is to identify 2 or more central ideas developed in the text Friday Night Lights. And then, how does Bissinger develop these ideas, such as language, characterization, or text structure? The students will be able to use the thoughts and ideas discussed today in their essay beginning tomorrow. So they basically already brainstormed without even knowing.